But tell us about the next story. What do you got?
Okay, well, I mean, this guy goes up into the 33rd and 34th floor of the law firm of Pettit and Martin, and his name was Ferry, and he pulls out a pistol, an automatic pistol, and an automatic weapon, and he goes off and he starts a shooting spree up there, and he shoots all these people, and then he hears the cops coming, and he shoots himself in the head, and he commits suicide. And all these gun laws against automatic weapons and stuff have emanated from the case of the victims of this case suing the gun makers for making those guns attractive to killing people and not for any other purpose.
What year was that?
That was like 92.
Yeah, that was 92. One of those first mass shootings where he went into the office building, right?
Right, yeah.
Wow, now that was over there too.
Yeah. And it's like one of San Francisco's best buildings. It's one of its most beautiful buildings. And the people that were shot weren't even involved with the law firm. They were just renting like some conference room or something, you know. And he didn't get anybody involved with his case. He just went nuts.
So what do you think? You think it was like a setup to create new gun laws?
I don't know. I have no idea. It's just such a strange thing. You know, these people, they just go off. You know what I think it is?
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think mental health, guy's erection, they would have had it resolved by now. You know, but mental health, I mean, in San Francisco, it's an epidemic. People walking around, they're treated with alcohol, which is the worst thing going.
Because what they did was they closed down the mental illness.
Right, Reagan. He closed down the mental institutes. Yeah, yeah. And then what happens? The cops are getting shot by mental patients and all kinds of stuff.
All right, we got a caller calling in. Let's see who it is. Hey, 310, who are you?
Pete Peterson.
Pete Peterson. Well, you're live on the You're live on the air, man. What do you got to say?
Well, I'm calling in for a 7 o'clock interview.
Oh no, man, not with Pete Peterson, not with my show. What number are you calling?
It's whatever the 347 number was.
No, you dialed the wrong number. 347 is still forwarding to us. What show you want to be interviewed on?
Well, it's Freedom Slips Radio.
Yeah.
Out of forum.
Yeah. Okay. I won't pick you up. Just
no. Tell him to hang up. Hang up, Pete.
Yep.
And I'm going to let him know that the phones are still being forwarded. Give it 2 minutes and call back.
Okay. Okay. We'll do.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, Russ, you didn't get any calls, man. Okay.
Oh, well.
That's not a wrong number for you, Russ. That's all right, man. I'm just kidding. So, what else you got, man?
Oh, I got a ton of stuff. The union killings down at when they had the strike in the 30s down on the dock. I got that. I got what's that guy's name? For some reason it's just eluding me now what the guy's name was. Anyway, he was a gay guy and he was down in the Castro district.
Yeah.
And he killed people and he got away and he was posing. They finally got him in Florida. And he was in a houseboat and he killed himself.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
Guy. He was a cross-dresser.
Yeah, with the
you know
Versace.
Who I'm talking about.
Yeah, he killed Versace.
Yeah, Versace, the guy who killed Versace. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. No. So he was from the Castro.
He was from San Diego.
Okay.
He was from San Diego, and he went to school with my buddy's sister, right, in the Ritchie area, San Diego. But he was always a poser and a big liar, right?
Okay.
And he came up to San Francisco, and I guess he pulled a trick for Versace or something. I don't know what happened. When Versace was in San Francisco, they met. And he used to hang out at this club called Midnight Lights.
Yeah,
and he pulled off all these murders, and they couldn't catch him.
Yeah, there was some weird stuff around that, too. There was some conspiracy theories around that.
Right. And it was, how was the guy able to get across country? He kills Lee Migdon. Lee Migdon was like big on the shopping network or something. I guess he had a gay tryst with the guy and killed him, stole his Mercedes-Benz, went down to North Carolina, killed a guy down there, stole his truck, went down to Florida, was living in Miami for a long time. As you know, they finally caught him down there. But what a manhunt!
Yeah, the guy's name was Cunanan.
Yeah, Andrew Cunanan. Yeah,
right.
Thank you.
And
Andrew
even still,
Cunanan.
the boat where they found him hiding, they had just searched that boat.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's one of those weird
right?
cases. Yeah, that's one of those weird cases because Versace's the kind of guy, and Versace's daughter. Have you ever seen her?
Yeah, nice.
Well, she's like mutilated though with the plastic surgery.
Oh, is that right?
Oh yeah, look at her face, man. It's hopeless.
Oh, yeah, I got to check it out.
Yeah.
Boy, that plastic surgery is a bad thing.
Tell me about
Joan Rivers. Joan Rivers. Oh God.
Well, Michael Jackson too.
Oh yeah.
So what else you got up there in the Bay Area, man? What a fascinating place, man. A lot of weird stuff seems to be coming out of there.
Oh yeah. And like you say, I mean, there's all kinds of like satanic stuff, and ghost stuff, and basically the reason that it's all here is because of the mining. It was the mining that got all the technology here. That's why the Silicon Valley's here. They developed a nuclear bomb here over at Cal. Ernest Lawrence developed the bomb. You know, they decided they couldn't keep polluting San Francisco, so they moved over to Berkeley. It's really a fascinating story. If you ever want to read a great book, a guy by the name of Gray Brechin writes a book called Imperial San Francisco, and he explains the culture of mining. All wars were fought for mineral wealth, and it's still today.
Yeah, here in Nevada, there's tons of silver and all kinds of minerals that they dig out of the ground here. It's just, and it's interesting too that almost all the companies that do the mining here are foreign companies. They're not local companies, and a lot are even overseas companies, and they take all these billions of dollars a year, leave our state and leave the country.
I know. Well, that is probably the greatest story of the crime tour. You're bringing me right to it, because the strike in the Comstock lode in Nevada is the single biggest strike in the history of man.
Okay.
The single biggest ore strike in the history of man. And where did all that gold go? Where did all that silver go? It didn't go into Nevada. Ralston and Sharon took it all into San Francisco at the Bank of California. And Ralston, he had no girlfriend or anything. All he wanted was to make San Francisco the new Rome. He poured all his wealth into San Francisco. He built theaters. He built the Palace Hotel in San Francisco. San Francisco is a relative backwater, and Ralston builds a 10-story hotel, the biggest hotel in the world, the most modern hotel in the world. Ralston has a vision of San Francisco that's unbelievable. And every time Ralston overspends and he's about to go broke, Sharon discovers a new strike in the Comstock lode. Sharon has the people of Nevada build him a private railroad to the Comstock lode. See, it's not the ore that hurts the mining itself. It's the extraction of the ore. The process of extracting the ore is the most corrosive thing you can do to the environment. So they destroyed Nevada. They made them build them a railroad. They made money on supplying all the miners, and they made money when they shipped all the ore back to San Francisco. And the reason Lincoln wins the Civil War is because he has the silver from the Comstock lode. The Confederacy cannot get loans from Europe. They got nothing to back anything. They go broke. The Lincoln's got silver from California. Ralston, who controls the Bank of California, and Sharon, both strong Union men. So the South wanted to seize California or split it in half for itself, but they couldn't. And so what happens is Ralston overspeculates finally. He overspends, he overspeculates, and there's a run on the Bank of California, the mighty bastion of Western economic wealth. There's a run on his bank, the most threatening, and Ralston is disgraced. What he does is he deposits all the banks have deposited their gold in his bank. He takes their gold and he starts giving it to his customers to satisfy their deposits. Well, he's disgraced. The next day, the trustees of the bank call him in on the carpet. And he says, well, I can still run the bank and just give me another chance, blah, blah, blah. They say, no, Ralston, you're out. You failed. You're out. You blew it. So Ralston goes out he takes a swim out there by the beach house every day. He goes out there to the bay for his swim, and he just dies. He dies that day. Mysteriously just drowns. Sharon inherits all his assets. Sharon becomes a senator from California. Sharon's one of the richest guys in the world. He owns Burlingame. He gets Ralston's house in Belmont, which is considered the Western White House. And nothing goes to Nevada. Nevada is considered America's dirty borough. They let it in as a state because they want that silver. And Frank Newlands, the senator from Nevada, and Sharon, he's a senator from that. They buy those senatorships. You can buy it in Nevada.
Yeah, the corruption in this town is, I think, beyond anything I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, yeah.
We got a couple of callers on there, regular callers. We got Christian Wallace and Bruce McDonald. You guys got a question for Russ Kyle?
Yeah. Go ahead, Christian.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Good,
I'm
how you
just
doing?
listening for a second. I'm going to have a question. I want to be talking a little bit. I'm just closing out some tabs, so just you guys go ahead and talk for a minute, and if you don't mind, I'll jump in.
Sure. Hey, Bruce, what do you got?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm good. I just wanna listen for a bit, and same as Christian.
Okay, great. Well, we got some fascinating stuff here, man. So, yeah, I agree with you. What do you know about anything about Harry Reid?
Harry Reid is communist. He was like a communist, right?
I don't know about that. Seems to be making a lot of money. He seems to be working on a lot of capitalist projects. Do you know anything about the whole story about Jack Gordon trying to bomb Harry Reid?
No, what happened there?
Well, Harry Reid, someone put a bomb in his car.
No, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. It was I think it was in the 80s, man. And the guy who took credit for it was Jack Gordon, who was LaToya Jackson's husband, who was a notorious criminal, this guy, owned a bunch of massage parlors and killed off all his partners in these massage parlors. Are you familiar with the whole Jack Gordon story?
No, I got to find this out. This is killing me.
Yeah, gotta look into that, bro. Yeah.
yeah, that's fantastic.
You know who I have coming up too? We're doing a whole thing about the Cotton Club murders and Robert Evans and Roy Raden. You know that story?
No.
You got to start listening to my show.
I'm going to start listening in more often.
You're gonna have to, man, because
I love this stuff.
Yeah.
This is a great show.
Yeah, this is all the stuff we're into, man. We love this stuff, yeah. So what else you got, though?
Great.
Yeah, what else you got in San Francisco? What other big crimes that went on over there?
Oh, well, I mean, there's always a sensational one every week. I mean, the cops are going crazy. I mean, they're going crazy themselves. They've been getting arrested for stealing stuff from poor people. They've been going into these wino hotels and stuff and rousting people and coming out with iPads and stuff, and they're idiots. It's all getting caught on video. They got the cameras in the halls, and they got the cops coming out with all this stuff, and they ask them about it. The cops go, "Oh, I don't know." It's ridiculous.
And they put that stuff on TV down there?
Oh yeah, they got it all on TV. It's on the news, everything. And I'm telling you, there's always some bizarre crime going on. I mean, the last crime tour we did was this gangbanger. These two people, they come up a street, right, and they meet each other. The cars, and they can't get through. So a guy is there with his two kids, and there's three gangbangers in the other car, right? So one of the gangbangers gets out of the car and shoots three people in the car, right? For no reason at all, just wanton murder. But the kid lives, and he IDs the shooter. And the shooter says his accomplices are responsible for the murder. And the accomplices are caught in North Carolina, while this other dude is convicted. Reyes is convicted of the murder, right? But his partners in North Carolina are getting away with it, supposedly, but they bring him back. And everybody's wondering, well, why didn't you bust these guys before? And blah, blah, blah. It's nuts. There's always some kind of nutty thing going on. And usually there's a political angle or a sexual angle.
Right.
Right, which is just unbelievable. And that's what ties all this stuff together. That's what ties Milk and Moscone together. They're all very sexual. And White together, people think White was homophobic. He wasn't. He was supposedly sleeping with another fireman.
Oh, really?
You know? Oh, yeah. And Moscone was always getting caught with hookers, and Milk was crazy, too. And Milk would make jokes about sleeping with White and Moscone. And, oh, yeah, there's always a sexual dynamic and all this stuff that nobody wants to explore.
Just fascinating.
Mitchell brothers, same thing.
Actually, that was interesting. The whole Harvey Milk thing, I was just curious about, if you don't mind me jumping in.
Yeah, go.
With the film and with all the accolades and everything, because they did make a big deal out of it. I think Sean Penn got an Oscar for that.
Right.
I don't know if you guys saw the film, but major differences, or what did they leave out or get right about it?
Well, I'll tell you what, and I was telling Ed about this earlier, they sanitized Harvey Milk. Harvey Milk was not the guy that they make him out to be. First of all, I think he had Jim Jones steal that election. He was involved with the Jonestown people, and he was a profligate sex addict. His boyfriend commits suicide, like in his apartment, leaves a note that says, "Harvey, you were a lousy lover." You know, his best friend was Dennis Perone, who was a known guy for going out with young boys, you know, I mean, young men, barely, I don't know what age his age is at, but I mean, he's been seeing a lot of young guys. I mean, it's not, you know, Harvey Milk was no saint, believe me. And they make him out to be some kind of saint. That ain't right at all, because he wasn't. He was a snake. He was a snake, and a lot of people think he got what's coming from. I don't think he deserved to die. I think he was just a politician myself. He could, but to make him out to be some kind of hero or something, right either. But he didn't deserve to be killed. And Moscone, but it's a strange thing. I mean, why do these guys? There's no reason for why to kill him. I mean, it's like he goes off like he's the Manchurian Candidate. Dianne Feinstein's the Red Queen. You know, it was just a weird situation.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
But I thought James Brolin did a hell of a job as Dan White.
But
then he kind of does turn into a Manchurian Candidate at the end. Even in the film, you know, it's like he just goes into a trance, like, and he becomes like, it almost was like a school shooting type of video, like where they, you know, it doesn't explain it. He's kind of like cool and calm the first day, and then he just goes in and executes everyone, and then he's just subsequently caught, and there's not really any kind of tangible or like, you know, serious, you know, reason why he does it. It seems it hints at that, you know, he lost his position and, you know, he was upset, but it doesn't give you any kind of real, you know, solid motive that would make sense.
Yeah, that's what's so ponderous about the whole thing. That's what doesn't make sense about the whole thing. And then the way the prosecution mails it in. They don't want to dredge up Milk's past. They don't want to dredge up Moscone's reputation. They give White a pass. I mean, who gets 6 years for killing a mayor and a supervisor in cold blood? Yeah. That doesn't happen to you or me.
That reminds me of Woody Harrelson's father. That's right.
You know, I mean, it was ridiculous. And then White goes to jail. And they don't do anything to him. He gets carte blanche. He gets food delivered, you know.
Yep.
He walks around the jail cell in his T-shirt. You know, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, White's reputation, I mean, Milk's reputation, they're naming schools after this guy. They got a stamp after him now. They want to name a battleship after him. I mean, come on, man. He didn't deserve all that just because he got murdered. He was a dirty politician. He was involved with the People's Temple. I mean, there's no telling what he was up to. You know? Moscone too. Moscone was no saint, believe me.
Yeah, I've been searching around. I've been trying to find the age because Harvey Milk admitted that he dated teenagers. Under the legal age. It was out in the open. He did this at public parties.
Right.
Yeah, and it's just amazing. But then again,
it's just amazing.
Right. Because everybody wants to be an advocate of civil rights and equality and stuff like that. You don't want to be bigoted and prejudiced against other people. Right.
No.
Yeah. So they take advantage of that, and they put this guy out here because he's absolutely a pedophile. Hey, what about the Keynes? The Keynes. You know what I'm thinking of? The Kinsey study. Was that in San Francisco as well?
Kinsey was in Indiana, I think.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Kinsey was in Kinsey report was in Indiana.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they lionized Kinsey just like they lionized Harvey Milk, and it's sort of a similar thing, Hollywood, of all the people to whitewash and, put up as some kind of a figure. My God. I mean,
right, because the Kinsey report and the Kinsey studies talks about giving erections and ejaculations to 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. It's in the report.
No way, really?
Yeah, they document criminal activity in these reports. That's the whole Kinsey thing, man, is a nest of pedophilia and crimes against children.
Is that right?
Yes, man.
I've read some of that. I didn't think it was that bad.
Oh yeah, no.
I've read some of it. I never read anything like that though.
Well, there's one thing in there. There's an excerpt that I read about where they talk about giving a 4-year-old or a 5-year-old an ejaculation like 12 times in one day.
No way.
Yes, man.
No way.
Look it up, man.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
I will.
Now.
Well, all right, Ed. You want to call it?
Well, you guys got anything?
I'm a little burnt.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. Well, yeah, sure, why not? If you want to go, man, you can go anytime you want, always, I never want to hold a guest back.
No, I want to be on again, Ed. I loved it. Thanks a lot.
No, I loved it too, bro. So, but tell us, are you going to work on a blog or something like that?
Yeah, I'm working on all that. I'm working on trying to get all my YouTube stuff together, take it to Hollywood, have my own TV show. I'm getting involved with an architectural tour now I want to do. I'm taking it all different ways.
Well, you should talk to my producer, Ann, because she's an architect. And I
will.
Yeah, definitely, man. So listen, we have Russ Kyle. Dude, thank you so much for coming on. I can't thank you enough. Great information, and we'll have you back sometime soon.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ed. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Hey, why don't we, real quick, because we got about 10 minutes left, and we got our illustrious Christian Wallace, who's a big supporter, and Bruce McDonald, who's a great guy. But look, we have Cindy Jean-Pierre. Cindy, you want to tell us all about the CJMarsRadio.com and our new, because we're on live right now, guys. The Aftershow is on live. Did you know that?
I did not know that, no.
Yes, dude, we're on live.
Thanks for the tip, Ed.
What's that?
Thanks for the tip.
Hey,
so you now have a 3-hour show or a 2.5-hour show, or?
Well, okay, we'll introduce Cindy Jean-Pierre. She's the owner and president and queen of CJMarsRadio.com, and she's got this great network, and she's simulcasting us. And just on the fly, we said, hey, Cindy, you want to keep us on here for the after show? And she said, great. So, Cindy, introduce yourself.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm over here in New York. Hey, how you doing?
How you doing?
Hello.
Do you say idea or idea?
Usually idea.
Yeah, idea.
I heard you fighting to keep the R off the end of that.
Well, we're not that far east. I think you have to go to Boston or Massachusetts or somewhere in that area, and then the R just rolls right out.
Yeah, he's from Canada. Ignore him, man. He's from Canada. That's not even a real country.
Yeah, 52nd state.
Yeah.
Did you mean the T.J. Morris radio? C.J. Morris or T.J. Morris?
CJ Mars radio.com.
Mars. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
And from now on, all the links are on the blog and stuff like that. And from now on, we're going to be simulcasting as long as she'll have us. And her network is all over Spreaker, YouTube, 365 Live. We're the only show on freedomslips.com right now that's on 365 Live.
Wow, nice.
Wow.
Listen, I do have a follow-up question to tonight's show, and it's not necessarily about the guest and what was discussed, but it's about why people do come under the microscope. And being a Torontonian, you can well imagine why I'm asking that question with our crack-smoking mayor, Rob Ford. I mean, this guy can't get a break, but when you hear the dirt on a lot of these politicians, they're 10 times worse than this guy. So, I wonder what the mechanisms are by which they decide to really, kick the tar out of somebody and give them a good flogging in the public media.
That's a great question, man, and I wish I knew, because you know about my thing with Sarah Palin and Todd Palin, and how it's all been covered up, and even when Nick Broomfield, we have next week coming on Hank Harrison, the father of Courtney Love, and Nick Broomfield kind of did a hatchet piece on him.
Well, now he's not really a big fan of his own daughter, is he?
Oh no, he openly accuses his daughter of murder. But there's a lot more to this guy than that one story. He was the manager of the Grateful Dead, and also, too, this guy's written books about the Templars and ancient history. This guy's a fascinating guy. He testifies in court. Oh, wait, next week's a big show, man. He testifies in court on ritual murders, on suicides. He gave his daughter LSD when she was 5 years old.
Jeez.
Yeah, he testifies about domain registration stuff. The guy's out there with all kinds of weird stuff. He has a farm with horses, like 50 horse farm with like 50 horses. He's a wealthy man, and but they kind of make him. Nick Broomfield kind of did a little job on him there by confronting him in his driveway and doing a sudden interview. The same kind of experience that I had with Nick Broomfield, to tell you the truth.
Is that Nick Broomfield, the documentarian?
Yeah.
What did he interview you for?
He interviewed my client, Shelley Tripp, about the Sarah Palin thing. He did a big documentary in Alaska, in Wasilla, Alaska, where Sarah Palin was from, and he interviewed her sisters and brothers and neighbors and stuff like that, little small town thing. But his whole focus on that was that he wanted to do a documentary that Sarah Palin was a right-wing zealot and a Christian zealot, whereas the fact is everybody there knows they're not. Okay, her husband was a snowmobile racer. Mm-hmm. They're well known in that town for their parties and their weekly poker game, and of course my whole thing was the prostitution scandal, which was no secret in that town either. But Nick didn't want to go down that road. Okay, and he interviewed my client, and he said, one time he said he believed her, another time he said he didn't believe her. I think he says now that he does believe her. He mentioned her in that documentary, but kind of blew it off because he wanted to. I believe, he wanted to make it out that the Palins were these right-wing Christians and not what they really are.
Interesting. It's amazing how so many things get twisted for. Kind of an undeclared agenda, like Harvey Milk. There's a reason he's been lionized. There's an agenda has been set forward, and he can do no wrong. Whereas when you get to know the guy and who he was connected with, he's 10 times worse than this fellow we have in office now in Toronto, Rob Ford. So yeah, and I guess part of the problem there is the mainstream media and their complicity in all of this, because they're just owned by a handful of people, and you say the wrong thing and you lose your job, and that's all there is to it. Which is why I'm very happy there are outlets like this to get information.
Yeah, and we're growing, and like I said, we got Cindy Jean-Pierre. So Cindy, why don't you tell us about your network and other shows you have on there and that kind of stuff too?
Well, we're fairly new, and we've been on since September, but you and I have that in common, I think, don't we, Ed?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I run a bunch of different programs. I have, a program about witchcraft. It's called Blessed Be Garden. I have a really great spiritualist psychic. She's a pet communicator from New Jersey, and that's called Spirit Talk with Teresa. We have Night Terrors, which is fantastic, with Donald Allen Kirsch. He's an author of paranormal books and on the list of who's who in America, as a matter of fact. And a whole bunch of new shows, as a matter of fact, that we're just getting set to start producing. So we're busy.
Well, what do you got coming up?
Well, actually, we're going to start simulcasting Mr. Ed Opperman. He's a wonderful person and just really brilliant to listen to. And secondly, we're going to be bringing up a man from Las Vegas also, whose name is Jerry Dean, who is a spiritualist, and he's going to be coming on the network very shortly too.
So almost everything on your network is all like paranormal kind of stuff.
Kind of. Some of it is very, I don't know, very realistic, and some of it is stranger than true stories.
Yeah, because we got that sponsor, Columbia Paranormal, a team of professionals conducting investigations into possible paranormal activity. And you can contact them at 573-489-5337. And they're from Missouri, so they're real private investigators. And they only investigate paranormal stuff, like Ghostbuster type stuff, you know? And, and all their investigations are free. They do this for free. So it's really fascinating to me that these guys are doing this kind of stuff. Maybe you can have them on one of your shows over there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I would not object to that at all. And the thing is that we're into all of it. You know, conspiracy is my big thing. I absolutely love conspiracy theory. I'm a big Jesse Ventura fan, and as you know, John B. Wells is my hero. And I listen to him continuously, and you, of course.
Thank you. Well, you listened to me before John B. Wells or after that?
Absolutely. I listened to you. Oh, gee. Let me see. Was it back on? I'm trying to think of. Was it Coast to Coast?
Yeah, I was on Coast to Coast. Yeah, with George Noory. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely.
And always representing Dr. Drew. You're the man, Ed.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I got to tell you this, though, man. John B. Wells had me on at the last second Monday morning, and he wanted me to come on and talk about the Veterans Administration hospital scandal, right? I said, well, man, I don't know anything about this, but have you heard about Elliot Rodger? And I had read that whole manifesto and stuff like that. It's really what's the fascinating thing to me about Elliot Rodgers. There's a lot going on with this.
Yeah.
His dad is a strange guy. And like I said, he had that guy on there from, he did a documentary about talking to God. And he lost all his money on that documentary. And one of the big guys on that documentary is Bob Geldof.
Oh. Peaches. Are you kidding me?
No.
So Peaches dies and then his son dies?
Oh, crap. I didn't even realize that. I didn't even realize Peaches. You're right, man. And Peaches was involved with the Anton LaVey and the Church of Satan.
Right, and she was, oh boy, no, there's so many connections to make.
Well,
right?
yeah, but Bob Geldof wrote the song "I Don't Like Mondays" about the first school shooting in San Diego back in the 70s.
Right.
You know? Now, what? Yeah. Did you ever see that video, by the way?
I can vaguely remember it. Yeah.
It's a real man. Go on YouTube, find the video. I Don't Like Mondays. It's a really super creepy video. With the press and stuff in there, so it's really weird. And Geldof went on to do a big charity. What was that?
Oh, that was Live Aid, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was the guy in the wall that shaves himself and plays Sid Barrett, basically. He's doing, he's supposed to be Sid Barrett in the wall, and he becomes, like the Nazi and everything. I mean, if you've seen The Wall, that's him.
Yeah.
And then go ahead.
Are you sure that's based on Sid? I thought that was more.
It's like an amalgam. It's not
Roger Waters, but yeah.
Right. You know what I mean? Like he's
minor rock and roll point, but yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if anybody doesn't know where he kind of like intermingles with them, like there's a connection to and they're into their cult, Pink Floyd, big time. Bob Geldof's Night of Malta, his daughter had some strange connections. She was also pretty much a celebrity that was on TV, and she had some sort of parenting. It was, I don't know what you would call it, but it was she had some parenting techniques that she was on TV talking about not too long before, or it might have been a year or so before she was found dead. And but she was a celebrity there, and she was kind of like not really Paris Hilton, but sort of like sort of like in that vein.
Well, she has OTO tattoos on her body.
Right.
Fana Crowley.
Right. Right.
Now, what about that? Now, how did Geldof die? Did he die in a closet autoerotic thing?
No, he's alive.
Oh, Bob Geldof's alive. Okay.
Yeah, he's still alive.
You're thinking of maybe David Carradine.
Yeah, David Carradine, but there was another one too that was involved in one of these big charities, one of these big.
No, that was the fellow from the Australian band that his wife left him for. Bob Geldof's wife left him for.
Ah, you see.
And she ended up dying young, and he committed suicide, and yeah.
Yeah, I knew there was a connection to Geldof and one of those closet strangulations, man.
But this is far afield from what you brought up. What do you know about Elliot Rodgers' dad? I mean, I thought he was just a first AD, which is no big deal in Hollywood, right? It's a more
no,
of
no, not AD. He was a associate, AD, so associate director. No, yeah, it was a small part in Hunger Games, but he directed and produced and wrote this whole Asking God documentary, and that's what made him go broke. But also, too, Elliot Rodgers' mother dated George Lucas. She worked. She worked for George Lucas. She dated George Lucas, and Lucas, as you know, bought up the Presidio land. He bought all that. Yeah. Which is a weird connection.
Something doesn't add up. You know, I've read a few pages of the manuscript, and I mean, that's a lot of work that went into that. A lot of editing, and it's fairly cleanly written. It's not great, but it's error free, and so it just doesn't seem right. And I don't buy the idea that the guy couldn't find a girlfriend. I mean, where personality and looks or stature won't suffice, then money comes into play. That's probably the biggest attractor in Los Angeles. So I don't understand where this misogyny comes from. His story doesn't seem to match him, is what I'm saying.
Better than that. The kid had tickets to go to a private who's that girl? A private concert by that girl. I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It.
Oh, Katy Perry.
Yeah, the Katy Perry put on a private concert for a private jet company. He went to that. All you got to do is go on Craigslist and say, "Listen, I need a date for a private Katy Perry concert," and you could take your pick of top 10 models. He also was on the red carpet for Hunger Games for a private party there, and an after party. And again, he could have taken his pick of LA 10s to go to these parties with him. Now, no one around him could tip him off to that and say, "Hey, man, I know he had Asperger's." Okay, I'm reading the chat here. Okay, and he was a weird guy for sure. But there must have been people around him who could have tipped him off that said, "Hey, man, if you go to a Katy Perry concert, you can get any girl you want."
Right. Right. No, I was preposterous, that whole excuse. And supposedly he was spending money on those guys that pickup artist guys, that run those classes. Supposedly, he was that desperate, and it sounded so ridiculous. It seems like some sort of put on Svengali thing, and then all of a sudden you got one of the parents already blaming the NRA and grandstanding, and it's like, oh boy. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little too organized real quick. And then Santa Barbara, that's where our good friends started the Temple of Set.
Oh, really?
Was started there. Yeah. And a few other things in that area. So the whole thing's very highly dubious to me. I think there's a lot more if you muck the lake, some of that will kind of come to the surface. I think there's a lot more to that story, and beside the facade, underneath the facade of what's going on.
So Ed and Christian, give us some background to this, Peaches Geldof, Elliot Rodgers thing. Not in those two particular instances, but what occult generalities that they fit. Are you suggesting that at certain levels of this occult participation, they're asked to sacrifice children?
Oh, I think so.
Or Or is it the children rebel and they know too much and they've got to be taken out, or one or the other?
Well, this kid here, Elliot Rodger, he was cooperating with this whole act because he was doing videos and stuff that are very overly dramatic and very badly acted.
Yeah.
I'm walking down this road where I remember my childhood. Oh, and I am magnificent. Why don't women like me? I am so magnificent. It's just bizarre. It's just so over the top that it can't be bad acting. It has to be something. There's some agenda going on. Is it weird?
It's so weird. It seems like it's either so badly acted or it's such a put on. But the other thing about it is, or that it's so weird it could be true thing. But the other thing with it is he's got the little brother called Jazz, and the little brother is like one of these very precocious, stage, Hollywood kids that ready to perform and is very like flamboyant in his behavior. And I mean that in the sense that he wants to be in Hollywood and wants to act, it seems like. And he said, oh, I hope my brother become one of, I don't want to misquote him, but he says something to the effect of, Jazz has got this personality, something like similar to the people that I have a problem with. And he had him in the tape. And, the two of them are both kind of talking to each other. And then the manifesto is like 100 and something pages long. I mean, it's really like...
and it goes into detail from Christmas parties and birthday parties when he was 7 years old, 6 years old, 5 years old. Every conversation he had with another person is documented for his whole life. But the thing is, too, is about this manifesto. It's really not a manifesto. It's a biography.
No, they were calling it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. But the thing is that there's a lot of real names in there of a lot of real people. And it seems odd to me that when a lot of these shootings and school shootings and stuff goes on, it's rolled out in a certain way where there's a lot of people on TV. Why aren't the media contacting all these people this guy knew throughout his life? There's people in the manifesto he talks about that he felt were sympathetic to his beliefs. And they used to fantasize about if they ruled the world and how they would get revenge against people. And he names these people. Why aren't these people being hounded? How come the media's not in front of their door saying, hey, did you know anything? What's going on? None of that. It's sort of like a monkey. The case is sort of like a monkey wrench into the media. Because also, too, his stepmother is on The Real Housewives in France.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the woman's on TV right now.
Right.
Now, why isn't this major news?
Well, it seems like it's similar to the Newtown case where in the Aurora and in the Newtown one, weren't both of the dads part of the Libor scandal, and they didn't even go and talk about them or anything? The parents always get, dropped along the wayside, and they don't do any kind of follow-up with, where they were. I think he's lucky that his parents didn't get offed in it. And then, how he's dead, so that's convenient, and it's kind of wrapped up, so we'll never really hear anything else from him. And then there was another... Wait,
before you go on, man, LIBOR scandal, I can't find that crap anywhere. I can't find anything in reality that connects these people to a LIBOR congressional hearings or something like that. I don't see it. I've looked for it. I can't find it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I've only heard it repeated over and over again, and it goes back to Sasha Falls, that Sasha woman, that Russian, woman who gives out crap. And I see nothing there, LIBOR.
Okay, well, I might be wrong. The only point I want to make, though, parents, is that how they kind of move it away from the family, like you're saying, or the people that are written and mentioned in the manifesto, and then you don't ever hear anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They kind of fall on the wayside, and they just sort of run with a narrative after that.
Even this guy who's going around with the my son Chris died in this thing, but there's not one picture, not one video of this guy's son. Nothing.
Right.
Who is his son? We just see the father with this kind of weird kind of beard too. His beard is weird, and making these speeches, man. Not one more, But where is his son? Where's the video of his son?
Yeah.
Where's the pictures of his son? We don't even know if he has a son.
Right. Well, that's the job of the media, and they're not doing it. So I guess we have to kind of like put the puzzle pieces together, as usual.
Well, it would be really easy to look up all these guys in this manifesto, and because we know they're all from Santa Barbara. And by the way, too, his mother was dating a guy named Jack, who had a house on the beach in Malibu, and had another house in Hollywood and Santa Barbara and Santa Monica, stuff like that. This guy should be really easy to find.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think a lot of this, because there's so many, it's so extensive, and it was written out. The only thing, like I said, and you've seen it, and you've seen him talking, there's something about it that it's either hyper realistic or it's so surreal that I can't, just from watching him talk, it's really hard to put your finger on which one it is. It's almost like, yeah, I can totally believe that this guy, is the type of guy that went nuts and did this, or there's just something off about it one way or the other. It's very strange. And then didn't he mail the copy to tons of different people?
Yeah, he had put up these odd YouTube videos up a couple of weeks before, and his parents saw it and sent the cops to his house. Okay, now wait, now that can't be an accident. That can't be part of the plan, because the parents saw it, they were spooked by it, and they sent and 7 cops showed up to his house, by the way. Okay? But then again, the cops did nothing and they left. Right? Which is kind of weird, too. But then again, he's a white kid, Asian kid, and, well, all that going on. He was well-spoken. He's well-written.
Right.
But if the parents were in on it, why are they calling the cops on him? So
that's good.
There's just so much there to wallow around in. But to me, the thing that spooks me the most, it can't be a coincidence that Bob Geldof shows up in his story. And that people like Woody Harrelson showing up in the Hunger Games, and it's all the same crew. And even we had a word here, a note here in chat about how this guy, the victim's father, he's just like the grandfather over at Sandy Hook. The guy at Sandy Hook who yeah, who got caught on his iPhone.
Yeah.
It's like the same acting family.
Yes. Oh man, that guy, he's classic. I know. It's the same sort of, high weirdness that's going on.
And the same acting school.
What am I missing here about Woody Harrelson?
Woody Harrelson is in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, I know.
And also, let me fill this in for you, Bruce. This thing with Woody Harrelson, because I feel like this is really big. You know how, I don't know if you saw A White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah.
There's a joke that's really shoehorned in to that movie where he talks about he comes home from the game and his girlfriend's reading the almanac so she can go on Jeopardy, and she says, "Oh, I just happened to have been studying presidential assassinations." And then he goes, it wasn't me. It was what were Lee Harvey Oswald's last words? It wasn't me. It was the CIA. And then, it's just this stupid joke that's shoehorned in there. And you're like, well, that's kind of dumb. Who wrote that? And then you find out that, Woody Harrelson's in there with Natural Born Killers with Oliver Stone. His father was supposedly one of the tramps that was arrested on the day Kennedy was assassinated. And, he was working with E. Howard Hunt. And he assassinated a federal judge. His dad got in trouble for an escape attempt. His dad was a contract killer.
Yeah, his dad's a convicted assassin, yeah.
Right.
I did not know that.
Oh, man, yeah. Well, where the hell did Woody Harrelson come from? Where did this guy come from, man? He came out of nowhere, and he's a billionaire now. Really odd story. Woody Harrelson is right in his weird stuff, man.
Well, he gets on TV on Cheers. He replaces, the guy who died that played the coach, and then all of a sudden he just takes off like a rocket. And, you just trace who his dad is. I mean, you can just Wikipedia his father, and you'll be like, oh boy, this is. And then someone said that they confronted him about his father after he did the movie with Alex Jones that was in Scanner Darkly. Mm-hmm. And they said, asked him about his dad, and he started to break down in tears, crying. So it's a very touchy subject to him.
Wait, and where else does he pop up in?
And that was Michael. He comes up in Scanner Darkly with Alex Jones, and then get this.
Wait. Let me. Woody Harrelson played Larry Flint.
And played Larry Flint.
Yeah, man,
But get this. He does him and Alex Jones meet in the middle of Scanner Darkly, and then he says, I'm going to make the definitive movie with St. John Hunt and all these people, and it's going to be the ultimate JFK movie. And he falls in with Oliver Stone's son, and they all get together. And then all of a sudden, that movie gets shelved and never talked about again. Never follows up on it, never finishes it. You know, they have a little interview. You can actually, look it up on YouTube and see where they, how far they got with it. And he kept talking, oh yeah, I'm going to do it, and it's going to be the best. It's going to be the definitive JFK movie. I've got St. John Hunt right after E. Howard Hunt died and gave the deathbed confession to Rolling Stone, and then nothing is ever spoken about it again. And the only connection that I could make between the two of them is that he says he's friends with Woody Harrelson all the time on the radio, and then you find out that what Woody Harrelson's father's connection is to, the whole JFK thing.
Alex Jones says he's friends with Woody Harrelson?
Yeah, because they are both in Scanner Darkly, and Alex Jones said that he was the consultant on the movie because he's friends with Rich Linklater, who made that movie. He also made Dazed and Confused. He made they all live in Texas. Him, the other guy that, if you're anybody's fans of Bill Hicks, the late comedian that everyone thinks that Alex Jones is, Bill Hicks.
Sam Kinison.
Yeah, his friend, when they were going to Waco, that was filming him, who's a filmmaker, and his name is escaping me. They're all connected, and they all live in that in Texas, in that same area.
Austin?
Around Austin, yeah. And, so you can start to see, you can kind of see who knows who. And Kevin, his name is Kevin something. I'm going to look it up. Hold on, I might mute myself and look this up, but I'll find out. Kevin Booth. Kevin Booth is his name. So he's, they kind of all know each other. And then, like I said, Sean Stone, and then Jesse Ventura, he knows them too. And, for them, the JFK assassination is kind of like the 9/11, the first one too. So they're very interested in that. And he made JFK, Oliver Stone did the movie, and he kind of whitewashed it a little bit.
I'm trying to get St. John Hunt.
I think he'd be a good guest because he's E. Howard Hunt's son.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we talked on the phone, but now when I email him, I get back a canned email, like a auto-response.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Maybe he backed out of the filming.
On his website, he says something about having health problems, and he's doing the best that he can with his health. But Sean Stone, let's get out. There's a message in the chat room about Sean Stone and Oliver Stone. Oliver Stone did a whitewash. He produced a whitewash movie about the McMartin preschool child molestation case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think it was called Pyramid Productions. Had the name Pyramid in it, and the screenwriters on that film that he produced are pedophiles. They're child pornographers. They were convicted of it. There were excuses for the false memory syndrome, all that crap.
Oh, no way.
Yes, way. Look it up. And Alex Constantine contacted Alex Stone when he heard that Oliver Stone. Alex Constantine, when I knew him way back in the early 90s,
wow.
We knew this movie was coming out. He told us. And he contacted Oliver Stone Productions. They knew about the background of these people who were doing this movie and stuff like that, because he told them. So I confronted Sean Stone about this on the radio on freedomslips.com. And you know what he tells me? Oh, well, I just interviewed Doug Dietrich. You know Doug Dietrich, right? Doug Dietrich. I said, yeah, man, I know Doug Dietrich, but we're talking about something else. We're talking about your dad and why your dad did this whitewash and this thing here with this. So I don't know what happened there, man. So Sean Stone, by the way, too, he just endorsed one of these guys, these Nevada guys running for governor, David Vanderbeek,
right.
who I've come to know pretty well. And I don't know.
Well, Oliver Stone, it was interesting too, and people can look this up.
Yeah.
There's a movie right before Natural Born Killers came out.
Yeah.
That Woody Harrelson stars in, and that movie's just MK Ultra all over the place. Quentin Tarantino wrote that script, and now I'm going to forget what I was going to say. But Oliver Stone did a Okay. Right before he was doing Natural Born Killers, and right before it might have been right after JFK. You'd think he's in the conspiracy, no, right? Robert Downey Jr. does a like on the campaign trail for it was Clinton's first run.
I remember that.
And he's going around and he's like, well, let me interview some of these people and get an idea of just the state of the country. And we've had all these years of Reagan and Bush, and now we have a chance to have a new president, and we can change things. And Oliver Stone is all over the Clinton campaign, and he's like really involved, and he's pushing it. Now, if he was a real conspiracy type of a guy, wouldn't he know? You know what I mean? It's all, bunk. I mean, what's he doing? Like injecting himself into, inserting himself in there, for a guy who supposedly, is, sort of.
Yeah, I don't have any faith in Oliver Stone and what he's out there doing.
No. That's what I mean. I'm just saying, like, you know what I mean? He's making movies for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I totally think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, he did that movie the day Reagan was shot.
Right.
He's the executive producer on that movie.
And
that one that's a total whitewash. The one with I'm talking about the one with that guy. Brother. The guy from Jaws, Richard Dreyfuss.
Right.
He did that one.
That's right.
He put out a ton of whitewash movies, man, over and over.
He did W. He did Nixon.
Right.
He did what's it called? He's got a new. He was going to do the one about Castro, and then he shelved it for a while, and I'm not sure if you can see it now. Oh man.
No, he did do a documentary about Castro.
Yes, he
Which
did.
was Castro.
Right.
Makes you wonder about Castro.
Right. Well, he's got an interest in that. And the other thing that I found in my room, this is really weird, I found it too. There was this thing, I don't know where I got it. It was called The Humanist Manifesto, and it was a magazine, and it had all these people's names written in it. Now, he claims he's a Buddhist, and he was in there. His name was in there, along with Dawkins and all these famous people and a bunch of other...
Well, Sean is a Muslim,
Right, and then Sean claimed Islam to say that, we all worship the same God. If we were in the Abrahamic belief system, like if you're Jewish and Christian and Muslim, it's all pretty much the same religion. He did that to try to supposedly bring awareness of it or whatever. I mean, people can go back and listen to his reasons, but, he went on and then he started talking about how he was going to infiltrate a real type of Eyes Wide Shut party, but then I don't know if anything ever became. But his son, a fun fact for everyone, is actually the young boy in every single... He's young Jim Morrison.
Oh, really?
Yes, he's Jasper, who's Jim Garrison's son in JFK. He's he's young Jim Morrison. He's Jasper. He's Mallory's brother in Natural Born Killers. He's like the little boy in every single movie.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Mm-hmm.
You realize that if everything you guys are observing is accurate and is true, that we're not much more than a decade or so away from some form of public announcement and public declaration that they are who they are and this is the way it is.
Well, right. They're pretty much, it's like an
these
unauthorized, declaration, pretty much.
Yeah, these are not sort of accidents.
Yeah.
No.
When the one thing I always remember when I think about these guys is that it's like playing chess against Garry Kasparov. Never think they're just making a move because they can't think of anything else to do.
Right.
So. Yeah, and I think that's part of the agenda for the Illuminati is they do want to achieve public disclosure at some point. It'll be at a point of great human weakness, when we're crippled and beset by so many problems that, nobody will really have much to say. I was going to say also, has anyone on the call had the opportunity to watch the new HBO series True Detective?
Yes, I was waiting for you to bring that up. It's glad you did.
With Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Oh, really? No.
Yeah, It's literally about a child sacrificing satanic cult
Yep.
in Louisiana. But they bring it into some sort of incestuous old time Louisiana family with political affiliations. They don't really. I guess they do sort of show a minor scope of it because it goes up into the state level. But
spoilers, everyone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
Well, the guy from the West Memphis 3 Paradise Lost documentaries.
It reminds you of that, Ed. It actually reminds you of that.
Well, they're doing it. They're coming out with a series with this guy about his experiences during investigating the West Memphis 3. So it's going to be a total whitewash of what went on down there, and which is my first interview about that thing. It's gotten huge, and everybody points to it. It's pretty much become the definitive anti-West Memphis 3 thing. And we've gotten a lot of harassment and backlash over it, but the thing is, we really got to fight back against that case, man, because they're glorifying this guy. This guy's a child sacrificer, man, and they're making a movie star out of him. And now this whole new thing, so we got to double up our efforts on that one, man. That's if anybody's listening out there, we really need sponsors to really fight this kind of stuff and to support the station, support the work we're trying to get out here, because I could have went to New York City just this week with Dale Griffiths, with Maury Terry, with Russ Dizdar to get involved in all this kind of stuff like that. But we don't have the funding to get down there and do this kind of stuff, this kind of work that we're trying to get out. And just that first West Memphis 3 show we did is huge, man. It gets like 100 views, 200 views every day on.
Well, guess how? You know what, Ed? That one is so important because that one you got everybody involved. In that case, that's even tangentially connected to whether it's you got Henry Rollins, Winona Ryder, of course Johnny Depp. The two biggest ones were Peter Jackson, I think, because of the amount of money that he supported it with. And then you have Johnny Depp, who made himself as visible as possible and got tattoos with Damien Eccles after.
Yeah.
Then you have Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, who I never liked, but that's me personally. But he was, bringing a lot of attention to it. Those three guys were really leading the charge. They basically got a dream team defense for them. And what happened was that they basically steamrolled that town. That town didn't know what hit them with money, and they just threw so much money at them that, they just caved politically.
Wait, Chris, they had billboards up saying "Free the West."
Right.
Yeah, but come forward, and with information.
You know how expensive it is to rent a billboard for or even a month.
And plus, they were paying all those witnesses that came in through the door. They were paying those guys to make up stories.
Right. And if they're so loving and they want to go and help innocent, you know how many people are on death row innocently that they could be helping that they never, ever talk about? They just stopped with that case. The one that's just mildly satanic and, is totally, ritualistic, and the kids are bound and their genitals have been mutilated. It's ridiculous. It's preposterous. And I shudder to think that anybody believes that story is true. And if you can bring any attention to that, and that I think you really should. And the thing is that what gives me a lot of hope, though, is that they just had that Bryan Singer guy that made the new X-Men movie.
Yeah.
Two of the accusers came out now, and I think just by the sheer force of an exposure you can get now over the internet, and just by virtue of the visibility you can get with things, it's harder for them, I think, to keep things a secret like they could in the 90s, which is when that took place.
Yeah, well, our audience right now is probably like 5 times what it was when we did that first show. Because that was at 11 o'clock in the morning, Thursday mornings, remember, And it's mostly the YouTube has gotten around there. And the transcript of that show, they took a transcript of that show and they've been posting it up all over the place. So we definitely got to do more shows on West Memphis 3, especially to combat this new series that's coming out. And I'd love to get Dale Griffiths to come on the show. I've been emailing him and Maury Terry about coming on, no response. But I got their emails, so we're ahead of the game with that.